Let me ask you a question, Dr. Umar. Are you totally against interracial relationships?
I am totally against it, and
Huh? Oh, come on! You gotta admit this is cool!
This is a video that has been in the oven for a long time, as researching for it has sent me down a hole that gets deep. But first, I'd like to thank you for clicking on this video, and I hope you enjoy. And strap in. This will be a long one. What is a hotep? Hoteps go by many names: conscious, Pan-African, and many others that just aren't coming to my mind as I'm writing the script. Also, I don't want to mix up these people with other people who are just in love with African culture and want to show their love for it, and with people who want to unite Black people worldwide. People I'll be talking about say they fight for all melanated people, but only want to fight for, as FD says,
y'all are fighting for Black patriarchy. And patriarchy is not our friend.
Hoteps believe in similar things to white supremacist alt-right people, with the caveat that the race being killed is the Black race, which is true. But here's where the similarities come into play, as they think the torture methods being done to the Black community are not economical, or at least purely economical. The government is pushing mixed-race couples and LGBTQ people through the media. It sounds similar to what some white supremacist conspiracy theories. Every person I'll be bringing up in this video touches on these topics, but I don't have the time to go super deep into each of them. But let's deep dive into the Black alt-right. The first video we'll be looking at is by Dr. Umar Johnson on The Breakfast Club about interracial marriage. This may be a surprise to some of you, but I love Dr. Umar Johnson. He's like a Black Alex Jones. But let's get into the video.
Let me ask you a question, Dr. Umar. Are you totally against interracial relationships?
I am totally against it, and I want to make sure you understand why.
The reason might be surprising if you don't know. And yes, he is a real doctor. Not a medical one. He just has a doctorate in psychology.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because... Cut it out, Envy. Cut it out, Envy.
Don't do that, Envy. I'm going to be having a serious conversation.
We have a name for it. We have a name for it.
Okay.
The Snow Bunny Crisis.
Okay.
I am against the Snow Bunny Crisis. And I want your white listeners to understand. Because people be trying to say stuff like, he's the Black Hitler. I'm not the Black Hitler.
You just labeled interracial marriage as a crisis, but I agree. He's not like Hitler. Hitler could lie better.
I am in no way interested in hurting or harming the life of any human, white, Asian, Chinese. I believe in respecting everybody.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap. No bullshit.
The reason I'm against interracial marriage, Envy and Charlemagne, is because marriage is an economic contract. It's an economic contract. Most women do not marry down in status. They marry up. And if you don't believe me, show me a rich white woman married to a broke-ass Black man.
This is a messed up way to look at marriage, as if it's not for love. We're not in the 1700s where marriage is used for diplomacy. People can choose who they want to marry based on love. He's inferring that every Black man marries a white woman to gain her wealth. Now, are there issues with Black men in their relationships with white women? Yes, and porn has a role to play in this. But love is still the main factor.
Have you ever seen a rich white woman marry a broke-ass Black man? No, you have not, and you never will. Because marriage ain't about love, it's not colorblind, and it is totally economic.
No one would say love is colorblind, as it would require them to think racism is over, and no one believes that.
To protect it. And in order to protect it, you have to be against interracial marriage. You can't say, I love the Black family, but I don't have a problem with interracial marriage. Interracial marriage is eliminating the black family because it is not providing our women with enough available and able black men to be their husband.
This sounds like something a Nazi would say about interracial marriage, but for black people. And this just does not line up with the census data showing the black population has increased in the past 20 years.
So
So it's not just white. It's not just white women. You just feel white women, Asian,
Everybody. Nobody should be marrying out the race because there's political consequences, DJ Envy.
Marriage is not for politics.
Naomi Osaka, am I saying her name
Yes.
right? The tennis sister.
Naomi Osaka. Yes.
Naomi, I love the sister, right? She knocked off the greatest of all time, the GOAT, in Serena. But guess what? Who is she representing in the upcoming Olympics? Is she representing Haiti? No, she representing Japan.
Olympic rules state that Naomi would have to live in Haiti for a few years to represent the nation in the most recent summer games. Still, she was born in Japan, so she can choose to play for Japan versus playing for the United States, a country she has lived in for most of her life. So his example falls apart because he doesn't understand Olympic rules. Also, what does this have to do with interracial marriage?
So here you have a half African sister, an African sister, because there's no such thing as half African. Our genes are dominant.
That's not how genes work. Please go back and do pundit squares, dear God. There's not much left in the video except where he says that all of Naomi's talent comes from her African side, which is some like natural cattle-like racism that he has internalized. But that's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys later.